Hey everyone, I think we're live. So welcome in, welcome in. If you can just give me a little thumbs up, let me know that you can hear me okay. That is always helpful. And I think this is recording. I'm sure hoping it is. So you can. Okay, thanks, Jen. I see some hearts. Welcome from Kansas. Great. Oh, you're welcome, Kate. I'm glad you're able to just hop in for a little bit. Great. So everyone can hear me. Audio's good? Okay. All right. Hi, Christelle. Good to see you. Hi, Geraldine. Thank you, Joe. Is that Joy for letting me know audio is good? Okay. Oh, friends. Oh, friends. Wow. the times we are in. And I am recording live from right outside of Minneapolis. And let me just show you what's happening here. It's really beautiful. Do you see the snow? It's snowing. And, I've been thinking a lot about how each of us we all have something we can do. We all have something we can contribute. And it doesn't have to be big, it can be small. And the snow coming down, giving us in Minnesota a little bit of like a fresh start, like a fresh layer to work from, feels really good. And I just took a yoga class at a local yoga studio. And the faces of everyone when they walked out of the class and like there was snow coming down, it was like, oh, okay. It's the little things, how do we take hold of the little things? How do we do our little part? And I think that's part of how we don't get overwhelmed, is remembering what one of my bhakti yoga teachers would say, Rukmini Walker, she would say, just don't forget your sacred smallness, that there is much sacred medicine in remembering your smallness and what a gift your smallness is. And in that way, the overwhelm becomes more bite size. It's like, it's just, it's this moment. It's this, this news flash, this road closure. It's this thing and it's small and I can meet it. So what I'd like to do to start our time together is to sit in a little bit of sacred silence. And I know not everyone might be able to close their eyes. You might have stuff around you, and it's all okay. And at the same time, we can create a little bit of quiet inside. So if you would join me to start our time together with some silence. And I like to close my eyes. That feels most comfortable for me. And you can do what you like. Do what feels right for you right now. Well, sit and breathe. Nothing fancy, no technique. Being still and being quiet. And maybe even feeling your sacred smallness as we sit. Just a few more breaths. If you're joining in now, we're sitting, we're silent, we're breathing. And let's take one more deep breath in and a deep breath out. All right. Thank you for joining with me in that moment. And I mentioned this in my newsletters and in my posts, this idea of co-regulation. And we humans are co-regulators. That's why, and most mammals are. They go to their mother mammal or they cuddle up in groups for not only safety, but to feel on some level the beat of another being's heart, to feel the warmth of another creature that is like them. So there's safety in that, but there's also, I think, a resonance. And when we're around someone who has a regulated nervous system, it's easier for us to regulate. And I thought, what I can hold a container for all of us people, 39 of us right now, to regulate with one another, because we might not have this opportunity to do this um, at another moment in time. So let's just join our hearts and our minds together and be in this space. I want to hear from you, because co-regulation is not just about you listening to something, it's about you also participating. So let's take a moment, and in the chat feature here on YouTube, I want you to write 3 words that describe what you're embodying right now. And it's okay, it doesn't have to be positive. I'm not trying to like make everyone be in a positive mental state. I want you to be in an honest one. So if you can take a few moments right now in the chat box, what are 3 words that describe how you are feeling right now? And I don't want you to think about how you were feeling yesterday or this morning, but now. How are you feeling now? And write that in. And then we're going to read through these together, and we're going to just get a sense of how our community's doing. And communities ebb and flow. They're like, ecosystems. There's people coming in and people going out. I know a lot of you are longtime students or friends, either from Sky House Yoga or from the Minneapolis gatherings we're having here. Some of you are just my friends through YouTube, and I've been watching your comments come in for months, weeks, years. But we're a community, and I put my stamp on that. Like, I claim it. So while we're a breathing, living community, I want to just see how you are right now. How is your nervous system? How are you feeling? So I'm going to just start reading these, and that will give us a little bit of like a tuning moment of how we're all doing. And then from here, I want to engage in some discussion. Okay, so here are the words. This is what we're feeling right now. We're feeling fear, sadness, and shock. We're feeling tired, frustrated, and spent. We're feeling open, empty, and reclaimed. Grief, fear, and hopeless. Anxious, overwhelmed, and excited. Peaceful, grief, and hope. And isn't it beautiful that we can feel peaceful and also have grief, that we can have fear and we can have grief, right? Like that we can have so many multiple that seem to be conflicting things, but yet we're holding them. And I think that is a sign of resilience. All right, let's keep going. Becca's feeling heavy, exhausted, dysregulated. Yeah, makes sense. Me too. But also Rachel's here and feeling curious, and but at the same time, a little apprehensive and determined. We've got kind, warm, and loving. Isn't that nice to have in the cauldron or in the stew of this community, to have warm, kind, and loving energy? We've got grief. We've got a feeling of that liminality, right? Like in between worlds. I don't know how many of you feel that, but I definitely been feeling like a threshold energy, right? Like we're on the edge of something, but what is it? Anxious, heart hurting, grateful, overwhelmed, disappointed. Yeah, I'm disappointed too. Exhausted, but creative. Like, how cool, Paula, that you're holding that. Oh, that's Andrea. Hi, Andrea. So your cup is empty, but there's a creative something that's coming from that. Beautiful. And then there's anxiousness too. Oh, I love this. We're bending, but we're also discouraged, but we're also rising. Look at all that movement. Yeah, quieter, tired, longing. You know what I long for? Any of you watch Outlander? I'm longing to live in old world Scotland, where we wear big scarves and full wool dresses. We walk around in the mud and we pick herbs and we drink ale and we pray deeply. We get on our knees and we're like, okay. That's just my own. That's my fantasy I escaped to. Okay, we feel sturdy, working. We feel friendship. Cecilia feels grounding, organizing, simplifying. Good. I want to talk about cleaning. Let's go back to that. Let's talk about organizing and cleaning a little bit. Geraldine's coming from the UK. She feels grief and gratitude, but optimism. Let's add that to the cauldron. Belief. Yeah. We have to have belief in something. There's frustration, distracted and aware from Star Soul Medica. Blessed, healing, love. Christelle, grounded and unsettled. Yeah, right. Yeah. Happy, hope. Frustrated, excited and hopeful. Defeated, peaceful, neutral. Determined, curious, connected. Tired and hungry. So you're cooking good. And blessed. Heavy heart for all the people in danger's way. Yeah, I feel that too. And overwhelmed. It's a lot to see what we can see now. 100 years ago, we could read the papers and get telegrams, but we're seeing we're getting so much more information in than our ancestors did. So how do we bear that? And I want to talk about that today. Take me through the stones. Yeah, let's do it. Longing for a simpler life. Some of you are Outlander fans, so I love to see that here. Yeah. So all of these things, right? All of these feelings, and they conflict and they rise and they fall and they fill us and they deplete us, and all of that in these sacred vessels of our container. And all of us are going to have different ways of dealing with that. And I think that is important for us to all know, that it's okay to process differently. And I was reading this. I have a friend that lives in Minneapolis. Actually, she's in St. Paul. Her name is Caitlin. I don't know if she's here. She's an artist and she is a retired therapist. And she did a lot of work working with kids who've been, she's like a trauma informed therapist. And so she's done work in hospitals and schools. And she had this beautiful post and she was sharing on Facebook, not only her art, but her words, which were, we all protest in different ways. Some of us protest by being on the streets. Some of us protest by cooking meals that are nourishing. Some of us protest by calling a neighbor and checking in and saying, how are you doing? Some of us create art. Some of us create medicines, like plant medicines. Some of us do like what I do. Like I'm a space holder, so I'm like spaces. we all rise up in different ways, and we all have to fill our cups in different ways. And the best way I have found in my capacity as a yoga teacher, a community facilitator, an herbalist, is by creating a hive. Like bees are very intelligent. And they all work together towards a common good. They feed the queen. We got to find our queen, y'all. I don't know where she is yet, but we're going to find her. We're going to feed her. We're going to mobilize her. But in the meantime, we have to do our individual work and like keep the hive alive and keep giving each other ideas of how to stay regulated. So here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to start by offering a reading from this book that has been a real source of insight and grounding in my world. And it's called Consolations by David White. I don't know if any of you know this book, but it's really powerful. And I want to read a passage. So what he does in this book is he takes words and then he creates a meditation on that word. Like, where does that word, if we were to make that word come alive, what would it have to share with us? So that's what I want to start with. And I love that this was my bookmark. Any of you deadheads out there? So we lost, like, there's so much grief because I lost one of my heroes. I lost Bobby Weir a few days ago. He was a yogi. He was a sage. He was a visionary, cosmic music astronaut who, gosh, he was so cool. And I'm going to read to you from this book, Ground. Okay, you ready? All right. Ground is what lies beneath our feet. It is the place where we already stand, a state of recognition, the place or circumstances to which we belong, whether we wish to or not. It is what holds and supports us, but also what we do not want to be true. It is what challenges us physically, psychologically, irrespective of our hoped for needs. It is the living underlying foundation that tells us what we are, where we are, what season we are in, and what, no matter what we wish in the abstract, is about to happen in our body, in the world, or in the conversation between the two. To come to ground is to find a home in circumstances, in the very physical body we inhabit, in the midst of those circumstances. And above all, to face the truth, no matter how difficult the truth may be. To come to ground is to begin the courageous conversation, to step into difficulty, and by taking that first step, begin the movement through all difficulties to find the support and foundation that has been beneath our feet all along. A place to step onto, a place which to stand, and a place from which to step. Okay, let me read that last bit. To come to ground is to find a home in circumstances and in the very physical body we inhabit, in the midst of those circumstances, and above all, to face the truth no matter how difficult that truth may be. To come to ground is to begin the courageous conversation, to step into difficulty, and by taking that first step, begin the movement through all difficulties, to find support and foundation that has been beneath our feet the whole time, all along. A place to step onto, a place on which to stand, and a place from which to step. What do we think? Write your comments in the chat box. What do you think about that ground? How does it feel to hear that? What does it bring up for you? What if we take it seriously? The earth has so much to teach us right now in this very moment, in this very body, in this very season of winter, here in Minnesota, in the high north, right? Across the United States, across the world, wherever we are where we need to be. And what is ground but the place we have to remind ourselves we're on, the place from which to come back to, and then take a step. You love the line about finding home in this way. Jenna, hi Jenna, says, brings possibility, stability, facing what is here from a place of resource. I love that. Geraldine says, a home in circumstances felt comforting. Time to heal. I know you. Imagine the people that could really see you. You could be with them. Yeah. It feels essential in the face of the chaos. It's amazing how much we forget that the grounding is always available to us, isn't it? It's like, oh yeah, right. I can come back. I can come back here. The lungs told me. Yeah, the grief, the lungs, the heart, all of this. You know, our center, ground is the center and the anchor. So when we think about how do we keep ourselves regulated, how do we keep ourselves grounded, it has to start, it's, you know, like it's an inner job. And what we put into our body, what we watch, who we talk to, what we eat, what we drink, all of that influences our experience of the ground we stand on. And it influences how we step forward. So let's talk about that. I'm going to share just a few of my own go-tos, and then I'd like to hear your go-tos, how you keep your feet on the ground, how you self-regulate. I want to give a disclaimer here. I am a sun and moon in Taurus and a Cancer rising. So my self-regulation often comes from very physical, earthy, comfortable, cozy things, and yours might not be, and that's okay. But I go to my favorite mug that reminds me of my sacred smallness, and this is my mug that I got when I visited the Redwoods out in California, and those huge trees, oh my gosh. I mean, they're pulsing, breathing, they're ancient. they're wise, so much. So this mug reminds me of the bigness of the trees. And then I fill it with chamomile. And I've been drinking chamomile. I was joking with, I think it was like on a post. I was like, I've been drinking chamomile like it's my job. And I'm like, wait a second, I'm an herbalist. So it kind of is my job to use the herbs, to let them work through me. And chamomile has been a saving grace. And I just want to show you that for me, I take 2 tea bags. I ran out of my harvest from last year. I did a really small chamomile harvest. This last year we had aphids, so, well. So you just do with what you have. And I love traditional medicinals. They make really high quality organic chamomile tea bags. And I know 1 tea bag for most people is not enough, so I do 2. And then I get these beautiful quotes by herbalists and great thinkers like Aristotle and Rosemary Gladstar to encourage me onward. But chamomile is one of my comforting allies. And chamomile, its name matricaria, comes from the combined word mater, which is mother, and caria, which is to carry or to hold. And it's like a hug. It's like mama bear energy, just hugging us and helping us regulate. So that is one of my go-tos I've been reaching for. Yeah, those lucky aphids, they really got. And it was like too late. By the time I noticed they were there, I was like, all right, guys, well, party's over. It's all good. The other thing that I like to use is blue vervain. And this is a tincture I made over the summer. And blue vervain, or Verbena hastata, is a native plant to North America. And I really like native plants lately. I've just been really diving in more deeply to learning about them. And this one is a really great one for people who hold tension in their jaw, in their neck. If you're like a tooth grinder, which I am, and if you are, if you're really good at like holding it together, but you're like holding it too well, like you might need to cry and scream a little too, then blue vervain just takes that sheath of perfectionism and hypervigilance. It relaxes it so that you can get down a layer, and it's really helpful for sleep. And I just use I'm when it comes to dosing, I like to do either 3 drops or a squirt. I know that's not technical, and for those of you who like technical stuff, this is a good reason to use blue vervain. If you need an exact dosage, take a squirt of this, and that will give you a new perspective. So blue vervain is a nice remedy I've been using. Rose. This is a rose hydrosol. Oh my gosh, I could bathe in this stuff. So if you have a co-op, I think you can even buy this online likely. This one is from Singing Springs Botanicals. However, there's a lot of different companies that make this. But rose is a calming nervine. It's really good for the heart. It's good for grief, anger, all of those hot emotions that can get stuck, or the depressive emotions of grief. It just is kind of an uplifting remedy. So that's a really nice one. And then I've been getting into crystals lately. So I have all of these. This is kind of where I've landed, is I sleep with crystals at night. And so these are kind of palm-sized stones. And the ones I've been really gravitating towards, this one is smoky quartz. And smoky quartz is really good at taking in negativity and helping you to ground and root. It's got like iron flex in it, which is like really grounding. I've been using garnet, which is good at transforming anger and frustration and rage into helpful action items. So that's like from the ground, taking a step. It clarifies the fire. I've been using this, I know it looks white, but it's like a peach calcite stone. And this one is cooling, calming. It's a lunar medicine. So when I need to CTFO, like chill myself out, at night, I'll hold this one when I sleep. And then this last one is shungite. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It's basically like lava, I think. It's like some sort of really weird light lava stone. And this one is like a sucker of negativity and of EMFs and bad juju. So after I watch the news, I'm going to hold this one and just be like, okay. And it's not that I don't want to know what's going on in the world. It's just that I want to know, but I want to release the emotional baggage, because that's not actually helpful. The knowledge is helpful, but the emotional response and trauma is not helpful. So those are a few things I've been doing. And I'd love to hear from you all. If you haven't yet typed it in the chat box, take a minute, and then I'll start just reading through. That way we can put our hive mind together and I can hear about what you all are doing. Okay. So, all right, just reading through here. Chamomile's been a good friend to Adrian. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, it is. It's so easy to find. It's such a reliable nervine relaxant for the nervous system. Geraldine says, I live in a small island with seals and hares, and they feel like gentle and magical spirits to connect with. Ooh, that sounds lovely. Oh, good for you. Nora has a Virgo sun and Taurus moon. Cleansing, cleaning, organizing, and being in nature and walking outdoors is my way. I think, okay, let's talk about that for a minute, Nora. That's brilliant. So your Virgo sun, like part of your life force, loves to see how things work, how things fit together, how things are organized. And so probably for you, when you look out into your space, and I do want to say that this is actually true for all humans, but for earth signs especially, and air signs, your physical environment can really affect your mind. And if you have a lot of clutter, a lot of mess, a lot of unmade decisions, which is what I took a feng shui class many moons ago, and she was like, those piles, they're unmade decisions and they stick to you. And I was like, ooh, yeah, I don't want that stuck to me. And so, don't make piles. Just anytime, I love the rule of when you pick something up, only touch it once, put it directly back where it belongs. So it's kind of like a fun game to play with yourself, is how few touches can I pick up this object until it gets to its home? Like, can it be one touch to bring it home? So I thank you for sharing that. I think that's one thing we have control over. And I met with my friend Sarah for coffee yesterday. Actually, it was chai, but whatever. I can't do too much coffee these days. But we had a chai together and we were both sharing how we've been cleaning a lot and organizing. And I think it's a natural way for those of us who feel like we have more control when we organize and clean. So if that's been an impulse, pat yourself on the back. It's a way of self-regulating. So thank you so much for bringing that in, Nora. Joyous has been using chamomile tincture. Yeah, very nice. Keeping with the moon cycles and rhythms and ritual makes you peaceful. I love that. A few of you have mentioned that you love blue vervain. I love hearing that. And if you need a source of blue vervain, I really like, if you don't make your own, there's a company called Herbalists and Alchemists. They're based out of New Jersey, and David Winston is the kind of master wizard behind their formulations. And they have really high quality blue vervain. So if you're looking for high quality blue vervain, Herbalist and Alchemist. I also like Herb Farm. They make a nice tincture. All right. Let's see. R. Saunders says, feeling great need to directly receive all the green, gritty, aromatic, sticky sap, radiant splendor that is our beloved earth. Oh, I love that. To directly receive. Yeah, it is gritty. It's green and gritty and aromatic and sticky and sweet and bitter, right? And here's another thing that I did recently, and I published an article on it, is I like to do this every year after we, like when we're finished with our Christmas tree, is I make an infused pine oil. So we had a Douglas fir over Christmas, and We source ours from a family farm that doesn't spray. So if you just get it from a commercial lot, you do want to ask, make sure they're not spraying, because a lot of commercial trees are, but this one wasn't. So you just chop it up. I put it in some sunflower seed oil, which is sunflower is the plant of a plant of the sun. It's got a lot of solar energy, and I infused it in my crock pot in a water bath for 3 days. And it is so aromatic. I tested it yesterday. Now I just have to strain it. But pine is a sticky, sweet, aromatic oil that is really good for raising our mood, and it decreases anxiety. And so, have you ever noticed when you walk in a pine forest and you take those deep breaths in, that you instantly feel relaxed? Well, that's because there's a compound called alpha pinene. It's a volatile oil that pine trees release. And it's something they actually are talking to each other through their volatile oils, sending signals through all sorts of subtle oils in the atmosphere. But we know that alpha pinene is specifically works on our human brain and creates a relaxation response through our GABA receptors. It's amazing. So we can go into the pines and regulate our nervous system by breathing the pines in. We can bring the pine into our home and create garlands. I think that's why, I don't know if you've seen the Little Women movie. We just watched that recently with our family. And in the home of the Little Women, they have greenery all up the stairs, over all the thresholds, on the tables. It's like pine, green, cedar, all of it everywhere. And that is a really good way to keep the air clean and to keep us calm, but also our spirits lifted during the dark winter season. Isn't that beautiful? So these traditions there's lots of reasons why our ancestors brought the greenery inward during the long winters. And it's also antiseptic and helps kill germs and things like that. So anyway, yeah, so you can get sticky, get out there, climb a pine tree, why not? Okay, let's see what else. Aberlone Rose, grounds by talking, writing, and reading. Yeah, those are beautiful. Talking, writing, and reading. Time to Heal says maybe you need some mullein torches around the garden and home. That's a great one. Yep. Let's see. Gosh, so many great ideas here. Oh, I just skipped down. Hold on a second. So thank you, Ashley. Blue Vervain, you taught me about, and wow, what an ally. Reminds me of just swaying softly in the breeze when my feet are buried in the sand at the edge of the waves. Yeah, have you ever seen blue vervain? It grows to like 6 to 8 feet tall, and it just waves without breaking. But you know what it does do? And this is the lesson of it, is if it creates too many flower heads, its whole head will the whole thing, I've only seen it a few times, where the whole head and neck will just break. And so it's the teaching of, don't be too busy. Don't carry too much around, or it can break you. But the blue vervain medicine as a nervine helps us to calm that over busyness of the mind. Yeah. So Amber says, I love smoky quartz, one of my favorite stones for grounding. Jenna likes the garnet description. Geraldine says, how about lemon balm? Jupiter and Cancer herb, so nurturing but optimistic. I think it's a powerful protector. I love that, Geraldine. Yeah, lemon balm would be a great herb for right now. It's also Melissa, right? It's the herb of the bees. And so the Meliciae are these high priestesses that lived in Greece, who were the tenders of and kept the cathedrals, and these great the priestesses who nurtured the apothecaries and the gardens and the beehives they were sacred visionaries and holders of ancient wisdom, and they were very much associated with the bees, with lemon balm, Meliciae. And so lemon balm carries with it this very bright aromatic energy, but at the same time, it's calming. So thank you for bringing that into the space. I think that's a great idea. Yeah, shungite is a meteorite material. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, thank you for that clarification. I knew it was something different, because it feels very, it even looks, it's got a very, like unstonely look to it. I don't know. That's not a great description, but you know what I mean. Geraldine says, blue lace agate untangles my stressy mind. Thank you. I'll have to check that out. Blue lace. Okay. Paula says, exercising and moving my body and creating tiny art. Oh, speaking of tiny art, can I show you what Andrea made for me that I keep on my desk? This is something, let's see if I can get it into focus. So yeah, and you know what Paola Andrea does is she sends her tiny art. She sends it out to the people she loves. Isn't this beautiful? And like, this is the thing about smallness, is it's manageable. So when Paola Andrea sent this to me, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago, it was just one day she created art and she sent me and my girls each a picture of something that she knew we would love. But every day I look at it. It sits here on my desk every day. So little did you know, Andrea, that the elephant sits in my daughter's room, the unicorn sits in my other daughter's room, and this sits on my desk. So, you know, if you're an artist, like, send little art, do little things, send it to people because it will change. It's a ripple. So thank you for that. Blue vervain sounds good for me. Remedy perfection. Yeah, for perfection. And making soup. How many of you are making soups? I am like deep in soup and sourdough mode. I have been teaching my daughter how to stretch and fold sourdough, and I've been making loaves. I have my grandmother lives. It's one of the reasons I moved back to Minnesota. My grandmother lives about 15 minutes away. And so every week I bring her a big loaf of sourdough. She's 94, lives on her own. She's like my stoic Catholic anchor of a woman. So grateful for her. But, you know, when we cook things, we bake things, we make things, we should share them. It feels really good to, you know, if you make a little extra soup, call up a friend and say, hey, don't ask them because they're, oh, no, it's okay. Especially if you live in Minnesota. No one likes to say yes. They're like, oh, no bother. You just say, I'm coming over, girl. I'm coming over with some soup. I'm going to leave it on your porch or send the thing in the mail, right? Like, don't ask, just do it. It's something we can do. It's something we can make. And then the soup also nourishes our body and the sourdough nourishes our body, right? So we can do that. Yeah, Cecilia wants to share that being informed is what she does, and realizing what you hear and see is a very small part of the larger perspective. And the quote news is often distorted by those with financial agenda. Yeah, we have to be discerning, don't we, Celia? We have to be very discerning and know who is saying what and why. Like, everyone says something for a reason. And if we can go back and look at, well, why? What is the why? It can help us understand the roots. Yeah. Joy says, I'm lucky, very close to coast here in Massachusetts. I go to the beach a lot. The weather doesn't matter. You like the storms. You remind me of Mary Oliver. Do you like her poetry? Because she would go out every single day. She wrote this great book on how to write, like how to write a book. I forget what it's called. Some of you probably know it. But she said, I go to the woods every day. Whether it's raining, snowing, sleeting, it doesn't matter. My commitment is to get to the forest and to listen and to write. And I'm like, yeah. So it sounds like you have that Mary Oliver gift in you too. I love that. Liz, dancing, moving, and praying, which are all similar, right? Dancing, moving, and praying. Thank you. Yeah. How many of you are dancing or rolling around on the floor or praying a little bit more? Yeah. Star Soul Medica says, mine would be a salt bath. I'm Scorpio sun, Pisces rising, and moon in Cancer. Look at you, water. Yeah, grand water trine. Oh, wow. I also need nature, fresh air, blue sky, and sunshine. But how good to know that about yourself. And if for those of you who are maybe new to astrology, this might be a good moment if you're curious to look up your sun, moon, and rising and look at the elements, you know, earth, water, fire, and air, and just see how those might speak to your own unique way of processing, receiving, and filling your cup. Because I find it to be a very helpful contextual container to better help me understand what I'm doing and then what I need. Yeah. Storms need to be loved too. Good point, Jenna. I agree. Adrian says, tea, dog, snuggles, fresh air walks, and choreography and dance with my students. Living through the presence of children. Yeah. Healthy escape. They give me more than they know. Thank you for doing all of that. Thank you for being with the kids right now. Any of you that are teachers, my heart goes out to you because I know you're holding your own stuff and then you have to show up for these little light beings. And it's true. I right now am teaching yoga at a recovery center for women who are in recovery from addiction. And, I show up and I do my hour class, but like I get so much from it because it's like, again, sacred smallness, right? Like we give these little drops of things. So thank you for teaching, Adrian. Yeah. My integrative wellness says passion flower. Actually, I didn't say it, but I've got my passion flower here because I was going to talk about passion flower for a minute. This one is from Herbalist and Alchemist. Passion flower, it's a vine, which I think is important. So for those of you who have a lot of air in your chart, and your mind kind of wanders around and it grabs around and wraps its tendrils around things and it has a hard time letting it go. And then it grabs on something else. And before you know it, you're like, I'm tangled. I'm tangled in myself. Then passion flower is like, let's let that go. Let's reach to something else. Let's settle in. So I find that passion flower, when my kids, for example, come back downstairs after tucking them in and they're like, I can't stop thinking about this or that. I'm like, okay, passion flower. That one can be taken as a drop dose too. So you could just take a few drops on your tongue, or you could take a few squirts if you feel like you need a little bit stronger medicine. Great medicine. So thank you for bringing that one into the cauldron. Christelle says, connecting to the trees around me, walking the dog, resting, adrenal support. Need to go back to blue vervain. Thanks for the reminder. Yeah. Adrenal support. Let's talk about adrenal support. So our adrenals are these like little tiny, I like to think of them like little elf hats. Let me grab my elf. So isn't she cute? One of my yoga students gave her to me when we had our studio. So the adrenals are like these like little hats that live on top of our cute kidneys. And so they live on either side of our lower back. And they're not this long. They're like tinier. But anyway, this is a cute example. So our adrenal glands, they produce cortisol, which is our stress response, which can be fight, or freeze, or as bonobos do, get frisky, if you know what I mean. There's lots of ways that the body responds to stress. So when we feed our adrenal glands, then it helps our bodies to regulate the stress and cortisol response. And rather than going off the rocker when somebody cuts us off in traffic or we see something that's really disturbing on the news, we can get a little bit of a stress response and then come back down. So that way our cortisol is like having this like gentle, it's like gentle waves rather than big highs and crashes. And some of my favorite adaptogens are, I really like mushrooms. I think that's probably my favorite would be reishi and cordyceps and lion's mane, especially if you're having cognitive dissonance or if you've had any traumatic brain injuries or if you have dementia or any sort of memory issues. Lion's mane is a really good one. And those are great adaptogens. We also have recently Phyllis Light. I don't know if you guys know her, but she's an herbalist from Alabama. And she had a dream the other night where she was out in the woods and her grandfather was like, he was a medicine man. She comes from a long line of Appalachian herbalists. And so she had this dream that she was called out into the forest and it was American ginseng and her grandfather's voice. And the grandfather ginseng was saying, like, use me. It was a lot longer. You can read her post on Facebook, but it was basically like the plant came to her in a dream, was like, use me, your tears water me. And I was like, okay. So I've been starting to use American ginseng again. And what I love about American ginseng is it's from this soil. It's native to this land here in North America. It's not a super stimulating adaptogen, whereas Panax or Chinese ginseng is pretty fiery and heating. American ginseng is just like it's like a warm coal, but it's not inflammatory or it doesn't spike our adrenaline or our adrenals. And it's sweet. And I think right now sweetness is needed. Sweetness is nourishing. Sweetness is comfort. and safety and security, like the sweetness of mother's milk is comforting. And so when I read that dream she had, I was like, okay, plants speak through the dream world. They always have from the beginning of time. I think most people, indigenous cultures, learned about plants through either dreams, the dream time, through meditative states or altered consciousness. So when an elder herbalist has a dream about an herb, I listen. And when I have dreams about herbs, I listen. And if you have dreams about herbs, listen. So if that resonates with you, if you've been crying a lot or need to cry and need deep underbelly support from medicine from this land, then maybe invest in some wild-crafted and ethically harvested American ginseng. So isn't that beautiful? One more thing I want to say about the adrenals before we leave this is keep them warm. And so make sure you keep your lower back covered in the winter time. That's like heavy sweaters, wear an underlayer of silk, wear a scarf around your waist, and never wear cropped shirts in the winter. Keep your lower back warm. It's really, really important. That is keeps our vital force really strong. So, okay, that's that was our little rabbit hole into the adrenals. Let's see what else you have to say. Yeah. So you've been meditating. You listened to my advice, and you are meditating 5 minutes a day. I love that. Yeah. Good for you. Yeah. 5 minutes a day. Just, there's nothing like stillness. Like, think about if you joined in at the beginning of this conversation when we took that few minutes. It wasn't even minutes. It was like a few moments to be quiet. Medicine is in that moment. Medicine is in stillness. Medicine is in the quiet. And if you can carve out 5-10 minutes every morning, mornings are ideal, to light a candle, to sit still, to just sit and receive the sounds, the smells, sensations, thoughts, receive it all. And you'll be amazed at how much differently you're able to process the rest of your day. Okay. That's all I'll say about that. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Brett Larkin yoga videos on the daily. Thank you, Jen. So if any of you are feeling attracted to yoga, maybe check out Brett Larkin. I think I'll do that too. Yeah. Don't you love that the pines stay, that they're evergreen? There's something about that evergreen nature that is very comforting in the middle of winter when everything else is dead and sleeping. Not dead. It's not dead. It's just sleeping. A lot of things are sleeping, but the pine tree are not. And pines are also a survival food for deer and a lot of animals. They can eat the pine needles, and they provide vitamin C and other nutrients that their bodies need. I love that too. Yeah. So thank you, Time to Heal, for the mullein. Maybe I will keep some torches in the house for energies coming and going and keeping things clear. Yeah. What else? Can I share my sourdough recipe? I can. I bought the starter from a woman on Etsy. She has, I think, like 30 different starters from all over the world. So I got an Italian starter because I'm Italian, partly Italian, very much mutt, but I wanted to get an Italian starter. So this one is 1,000-year-old starter from an Italian monastery. And the name of the company, or the name of the woman, basically, she's lovely, who has these starters, is Antelope. I'll look it up for you. But if you email me, if you have questions that pop up during this live stream or in the recording, email me at info@skyhouseherbs.com, and then I will respond to you. I'll get to your question. Let me just look it up on Etsy, but I think it's called like Antelope Loaves or something like that. All right. And I follow her recipe for a rustic sourdough loaf. And that, that is what I do, and it works really well. Okay. It's called her Etsy site is The Lazy Antelope. the lazy antelope. And she sells her own flour too. And she sells the einkorn flour, which is a very dense mineral rich flour that works really nicely, but you have to buy that specific starter. So I just blend them anyway. Too much information. You can go down that rabbit hole. It's fun. It's a fun one. Okay. Yeah. So Carissa. Oh, hi, Carissa. It's good to see you. You've been making sourdough to complement everyone's soup. Yes, they work very well. Oh, I love seeing you guys here. Look at all of us. Look at all of you. Thanks for coming in. All right, we've got about 10 more minutes before we close. Let me keep reading down because there's a lot of riches here in the chat. Cleavers is the water vapor between. Oh, I like that. Been feeling called to drink pomegranate juice. Wondering what is that about? Yeah, I mean, pomegranate, there's the symbolic and then there's the nutritional. I mean, it's high in vitamin C. It's super high in antioxidants, which is really cooling to the body and reduces inflammation. So maybe that's part of it. And then on a symbolic level, it's the fruit of Persephone in the underworld and the goddess under the soil resting. So it's also like the fruit of deep rest before the rebirth. So that's kind of cool, huh? All right. Liz had a dream last night about eating green apples and eggs for better health. Do it. Do it. I don't know. I don't know why, Liz, but you got to do it. If you dream it, I mean, like, don't do like the stupid dreams, but if you get communication about foods, about herbs, about big choices, and they come into the dream or like really good advice, like if we don't listen to it, it'll stop talking to us. So you have to do the green apples today. Okay. All right, Jen, we'll see you later. Thanks for joining. Lola says, driving to music, going out of town, ideally a small pilgrimage. So grounding for me. Yeah, Sagittarius moon, you're going to feel grounded when you travel and you go to sacred sites, right? Like ninth house stuff. Very cool. Very good. Yeah, it's true. Teamwork makes the dream work, Jen. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, if you liked this, please click the heart, the like button. I'm glad that you are enjoying, that you've enjoyed this conversation. Yeah. So I think we should close with a little integration space, because when we take in information, personally, I think it's really nice to kind of let it settle in and rest before we go to the next busy thing, because something is going to grab our attention and grab our nervous system. So let's just take a moment to integrate, and then I'll say a few words of closing, and then we can go into the world. Our sacred smallness can travel and do what we're here to do. I mean, we're here now for a reason. We're here where we're grounded on the earth where we need to be, and we can't deny that. So, all right, let's integrate. So close your eyes. Feel your body again, this beloved, blessed body. And in your heart, feel all of the voices of your fellow attendees and all of their gifts that they shared, all of their insights, their blessings, their courage, their ideas. And we can take a moment to validate ourselves, validate that we're doing the right thing, that we're where we need to be, that we always have choice. And not only are we on Earth, but we are Earth. So let's take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. All right. Yeah. So yeah, maybe we'll do this by Zoom next time so that we can all see each other, because it is fun to kind of have the Brady Bunch boxes where we can see each other's faces. I've only done a few live streams, so this is new to me, and I'll keep playing with this. And if this was helpful, if you really liked meeting like this and would like to do this more often, give it a heart. Make a comment afterwards and just say, please do this again. If this time works for you, it works well for me. And this could maybe be like our Friday lunch break, or I know for you in the UK it's a very different time. But yeah, I mean, this is one of my small things that I can do. And it would be nice to be with you all again. So be gentle. Be gentle with yourselves, be gentle, be kind to each other. And use use the herbs, use the plants, use your food. And you're not alone. Like I hope you feel a little bit calmer and more regulated and connected to this hive. And if you ever feel alone, just imagine yourself in a beehive with all of us, and take a deep breath and just say, like, hi, I'm in the hive, and we're seeking out the goddess. We're trying to find our next queen bee. Oh, all right, take care, everyone. I love you, and be well.